Censored. I am your host, Keith Andrew. Along here is Kerri Sohn, and I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, for people who want to know what Uncensored is unofficial right now, but the whole point that I'm making is to show people that even if we're in disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. At the same time, turning myself into a perfect example for people out there deaf, blind, or in a wheelchair. That you should never label yourself or have people label you. You should prove to them you can still mount to something and you can accomplish something. So that's basically the whole point I'm making. Now, with that being said, you can say anything you want, do anything you want. It's uncensored, and this is your time, whatever you want to do.
This is my time? I don't really. I think this is great what you're doing. I think that's an amazing message to send to people, and I'm so happy to have any part of that. I think I was kind of prepared for you to ask me questions or something.
All right. Well, I don't want people to think it's one-sided. You can ask me anything you want, or I like things to be interactive. So I recently started, if you have any favorite pictures or outfits you like to show the viewers, I like it to be more upbeat, fun, so you don't have to be stressed out or nervous or anything.
To show pictures or outfits? I don't. What do you mean?
Well, I like it to, instead of the status quo of just sitting there and just talking, if you say, I have my favorite outfits that I wore on this day for this scene or for this occasion, or I like it to be more interactive and just the same old repetition of just talking over and over and over.
Okay. Let's see. Well, I have a collection of props that I've had that I've gathered from various videos that I've shot and things that I've written and things that I've been in. You want to see some of those?
Well, you don't have to do it this minute, but that doesn't mean overall. You just feel comfortable. You can do whatever you want.
Oh.
So, starting off, what can you tell me about yourself?
What can I tell you about myself? I live in Brooklyn. I live in Bushwick. I'm an actor. I also bartend. I write. Is that the kind of stuff that you want to know?
Well, you can say anything you want. If I knew you're from Brooklyn, maybe we could have done this in person, but I don't have a studio yet, so...
Where are you? You have a 917 number.
I'm from West Point, near Woodbury Commons.
Oh, okay.
Ever been there?
I shot one of those crime reenactment shows, up by West Point. We were just across from West Point, but we were in, I don't remember the name of the town. I want to say Newton, but that's not it. We were right across from it, so we passed it. I stayed at a hotel, I think that was actually maybe in between West Point and wherever I was. Well,
if you're ever in the area, I'd love to hang out with you.
Yeah. What do you like to do?
Mostly I make videos. Occasionally, if I have a reason to go to Woodbury Commons, I go shopping or just walk around for the exercise. What about yourself?
I do a lot of acting. That takes up a lot of my time. I do some improv comedy. I'm doing stand-up for the first time on Friday. That's really nerve-wracking, but I think it'll be fun. I like doing I like hiking, and I like seeing art and music, and I like to go to museums.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I try to have fun. I mean, you gotta try to have fun in life, right?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Now, before we get to head of how did you get in acting, how did you become a writer and everything, we can get to that in a little bit. But I'm going to ask you a lot of easy questions and a lot of hard questions, but you can say anything you do if you want, freedom of speech, everything. The first question I was going to ask you, did you ever do any sports when you were in high school and college, or were you a party animal in college?
Well, those are two separate questions, I guess. I did a lot of sports when I was in high school. I was a competitive gymnast until I was about 13. And then I did track and field in high school. Yeah, that was like elementary, junior high was the gymnastics. And then I did track and field in high school, and I was the Suffolk County triple jump champion when I was a sophomore.
Do you miss it?
What?
Do you miss it?
I mean, sometimes I think I've replaced that like competition and performance with acting and other kinds of things. So I think I've supplemented it, but my body probably misses it. Being in shape, I used to run like 5 miles a day, and it's probably a lot better for me than what I do now, which is yoga like every once in a while.
All right. What about? I know a lot of people do this, refer to this as cheerleading, but you don't really have to be a cheerleader to do this. You mentioned you did gymnasts. Did you ever get the chance to do one of those human pyramids, or are you a fan of those?
No, I never did any human pyramids. That's a cheerleading thing, not a gymnastics thing.
Could be both.
What?
Could be both.
Yeah. Well, I get like cheerleading has a lot of gymnastics in it. But gymnastics doesn't really have a lot of cheerleading in it. You know what I mean? So I did, like the uneven bars, the vaults, the beam, the floor, like all the like Olympic gymnastics events. And I never did any cheerleading. I kind of liked to be the person winning the event, not the person cheering.
But would you ever be up for it, or are you not into that type of thing?
A human pyramid?
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what? I did like a human pyramid one time I did my improv team. We made a human pyramid, but it was very, like, not well done. We just had 3 people on the hands and knees, and I was, like, on the top. We were posing for a picture for one of our improv shows, so I did that.
I know. It's kind of, I like to stand out and act different, unique questions, and I know, you did a human pyramid. It's like, why the fuck would he ask that? And it's kind of like, no, I like being different and standing out, and
cheerleading is very dangerous, actually. More people die in cheerleading every year than any other sport.
That's true. But then you had the discussion of, is cheerleading really a sport, or is it more of an activity? Then you have that discussing going on.
Well, it is a sport, I would say, because they have competitions where they compete against each other. But, yeah, primarily, I guess, it's more of an activity, you would say. So it's probably a little bit of both.
All right. Now, for people who want to know why I brought it up, it's like, I'm a big fan of that stuff, so I know I'm a loser and everything, but...
You're a big fan of cheerleading?
I know the human pyramid stuff.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever seen like a really spectacular human pyramid?
Well, there's a lot of them. I never saw it in person, unfortunately. I always, when I was in school, my friends used to pick on me, say, "Oh, you should have been in our gym class. We just did it. It was so amazing." It's like, I love this stuff. Like I said, I'm a loser. It's like, I enjoy this stuff, and you're just rubbing it in my face. But there's this tradition in Spain. A lot of people refer to a human pyramid and a human tower. Two different things. But in Spain, it's called a human tower or a human castle. And it's a tradition. And they recently came over to New York City. I don't know if you remember this, but I think it was 2012. No, actually, it wasn't 2012. That was Hurricane Sandy. 2011, 2010, they came to Brooklyn. And they did that. So it's kind of like, oh, no, it's pretty cool.
How many people do they use in the human pyramid?
Well, human pyramid, it's mostly... like you said, he can be a 3-person, 6-person, 10, any number. For Spain uses like it's a tradition, so I guess 100 people or something.
Oh my God, that's crazy. That's pretty cool.
You should look it up. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Now the next question. Now moving on to the other one. Some more you would be interested with getting off the subject. I know what people think. Yeah, this kid's obsessed with this. It's like, yeah, I have enough problems. Anyway, how did you get into acting?
I got into acting because I tried out for the play in junior high school. I tried out, I think, twice before. I didn't get a part the first time, but then I tried out again, and I got a part as Crossbun the Pirate in a production of Treasure Island, and that was my first acting, and I played a pirate.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was like an interactive show where we, interacted with the audience. And I had to, because I was a pirate, so I had to take prisoners one point in the show, and I took the principal of the school as the prisoner. And he wouldn't listen to me. He kept interrupting the show. And so I told him to shut up. And the whole crowd was like, oh my God, she just told the principal to shut up. And I've been hooked ever since.
All right. What about, what motivated you? Like, what motivates you and what's your passion? 2 questions in one. But you can look at it the same way. What were your passions and reasons of becoming an actor? You didn't want to work in retail, obviously, right?
I kind of like, as I wasn't an actor, I told that story. I acted when I was in junior high, and then I didn't act for a long time. I did writing. I studied philosophy and art history in college, and then I was a journalist for a little while after. And I started doing more creative writing, and then I just somehow my roommate cast me in a short film of his, and I really liked it, and I remembered when I was a kid how much I really liked it, and that was like the first thing I ever wanted to do was be an actor, but I didn't really think that I could be an actor. I thought that was too big of a dream. I thought that was like, I wasn't like pretty enough, or I wasn't right. I wasn't like, I couldn't do it. So after somebody had offered me a role and was like, you're kind of good at this, maybe you should do it more. I remembered how much I loved it when I was younger, and that I'd sort of given up on it, and I was like, why should I give up on a dream? I should do this. So
All right.
then I was just like, screw it. I'm going to try to do it,
Now, is that the same thing with writing, or what came first, acting, or what are you mostly focusing on right now, writing or acting? And the other question is, how did you become a writer?
Well, I think I became a writer because I used to write a lot of diary entries. I have something to show you. This is my diary from when I was 9 years old. Sometimes I have a website where I read a lot of my entries because I think they're kind of funny or ridiculous or, terribly mean, and it's funny in retrospect. You're like, oh my God, kids are ridiculous. So I used to write a lot just about like my feelings and, the day, and I think that I just kind of never stopped. I just kept writing. So, like I said, I did journalism for a while, and now I do more creative writing, like screenplays and web series and stuff like that. But I would say I've been concentrating more on acting for the last maybe 5 years, and I haven't been doing as much writing, but I'm trying to do more. I've been working on a couple web series, and I do some like I said, I'm going to do stand up, so that's kind of writing and performing. I've been recently working in journalism again, so I've been doing some articles.
Hey, if you're interested, I would love for you to write an article about me.
Yeah. Well, I write articles. It's like an entertainment website, and it's not mine. I just freelance for her.
Right.
And she sort of just sends me. It's like event coverage. She sends me out to different events, and I take pictures, and it's kind of just for fun.
Yeah, that's an idea.
But yeah, if I ever have the opportunity, I will definitely use you in some way.
Now, you mentioned you're doing stand-up this Friday. How did you, is it the same thing with acting? You just fell into it? You just have a passion? Or how did you come about?
Well, I do improv comedy, and I do some sketch comedy, and I do some different, characters and some comedic kind of things here and there. But I've always stand-up has really scared me, and I've always wanted to do it. I've never done it before. This is my first time doing it on Friday. A friend of mine who, I think I have a piece of nut that I was eating before in my mouth. A friend of mine who I've done improv with is having a show, and she just asked me if I wanted to do characters or something, and I was like, well, I've never done stand-up, so maybe I'll do like a little stand-up set. And she was like, sure, go for it. So.
All right. Well, to give you a little word of advice, when you do stand-up, and I know I'm no expert in this, but just one friend to another, well, you have to just not... Yeah, I don't know if you can hear on my cat's trying to break in. Basically, you have to have the attitude of, this is what I'm doing, and turn yourself into the character.
Yeah.
And just focus. So, like, say if me and you were on stage, you would just focus on the two of us, not in the audience, or that's fair. You can't. I know a lot of people, and I know you feel nervous when you're on stage and have all these people looking at you. You just need to have the attitude of, you're doing it for fun, and you don't give a shit. When you mess up, you mess up. But you're doing it for fun, and you're putting on a show. You just need to have the attitude of... It's hard. I'm trying to find the words for it, but I think you can get the idea of what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
I think that's good advice. Definitely.
Well, I do have a funny joke for you.
Okay.
For the longest time, I don't know if you've been hearing the things going on about the curious girl, with the whole Hasidic thing. So I came up with a joke recently, and I said, what if I didn't know Superman was Jewish? So I said, instead of up and away, it's oi, 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 and away. I know, a lot of people think it's funny. It's, that's offensive. It's like, it's a joke, you can't take things too seriously.
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
The other joke is, I think it was my uncle or someone on my family side's name Whiff Shits. So when he was growing up, he like, hey Mackie, whiff that shit. So and then the joke is, if you whip shits, your ass talks.
Oh.
There's a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a good play on words. Fun.
You mentioned you had some props. What type of props do you use?
Oh, well, I just have a lot of props from sketches I've done and stuff. This is my my prop sort of book/book closet. This is I did a sketch and I wore this crown one time. It was a comedic sketch. It's on YouTube. A tiny little hat I wore for a scene in class one time. I was supposed to be some sort of maid of honor, not maid of honor, but bridesmaid. So we needed to find some funny little thing that we could match with. Let's see. This was just a Halloween costume. But, oh, this one. It's a bottle from, the first short film that I ever wrote was a zombie movie, and this was a bottle that I designed, or my friend actually designed the label, and we used in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. The other question I was going to ask you, you ever did this, just throwing it out there, but if you look at me and look at you, you're more of a attractive person than just throwing out there. Did you ever dye your hair? You have the look. Some people have the look, say, oh, I can dye my hair any color, and I can get away with it. For an example, I dyed my hair blonde, and it looked like someone pissed on my head.
Yeah, my boyfriend dyed his hair blonde, and he also looked like somebody pissed on his head. I think blonde is also just a really tough color. One, it's a really tough color to achieve, and two, I think I've seen a lot of guys that try to do it, and it doesn't look so great. I don't know why that is, but maybe it's just like prejudices that we have about men and women. But yeah, I dye it. See, my roots.
Well, I bet you can pull off different hairs. Well, this is the next question. I was going to say, I bet you can pull off different hairstyles, but if you had to choose, do you have any certain looks over the years that you would prefer to keep, or do you like to mix it up and match it up?
I guess I like the hairstyle that I have now. I think it's one of my better ones. Yeah, I've had a lot of hairstyles. I like to just mix it up, and also I think, fashion changes and like styles change, so you're constantly evolving. Just your own tastes are constantly evolving. So.
All right. If I hesitate, I apologize. Usually when I do, I like having an interview one after another, so I'm more comfortable. I haven't done any interviews with it. Don't ask me why. It's hard finding people. So I have the hesitation of hesitating, so it makes me sound like there's something wrong with me. So if I hesitate, I apologize.
That's okay. No, don't apologize.
And while on the subject, a lot of people say, oh, how come you do talk show? I have, I don't have the best people skills. I'm going to just throw it out there. So doing it one-on-one, it's kind of like therapy for myself. Like, I give you a perfect example. When I worked over in retail, I had an excuse to walk up to people and it's like, hey, how you doing? Do you need any help?
Yeah.
But, in now doing a talk show, it helps me, too. If you would say a couple years ago, if I was in high school, would I ever walk up to someone? I wouldn't say I wouldn't be like the same person, because I guess I matured over the years and this is helping.
Yeah.
But also self-constantly, just throwing it. What about you?
Have I ever been socially awkward?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. I think what helped me was sort of the same thing. Like, I did journalism for a little while, and that really helped me, because I used to have to go up to people and talk to them on the street, strangers, or talk to a lot of people. I think it does. It helps a lot. Yeah, and I think it is also just getting older. That's another thing. I think as a kid, you're a little bit more self-conscious, and you're not, you're not the full person that you become as you get older.
Hey, don't mind me. I'm just getting more adjusted. Now, recently, I want your opinion about this. Recently, I was looking for a job, and I came across this cute girl. And tell me if I did the right thing or I shouldn't have said it. But I knew right away I wasn't going to get the job. Because, it's more of a snobby asshole place, and we're very common, wink wink, not saying all of them are like that. But I really liked this girl. She had an accent. And I was like, oh, fuck it. I'm like I said, I know I wasn't going to get the job and whatever. And I said, I was extending my hand in friendship to her in a way, like I did to you. And I said, "Oh, I think you're really beautiful, and I would like to have the opportunity and privilege of giving you the chance to be on guest on my talk show." And BC just went off on me. She said, "How dare you say how beautiful I am, or how dare you ask me to be on your talk show? Where do you get off? Oh my God, why don't you go fuck yourself?" And I'm like, wow, I know this is this is a perfect example why I don't walk up to people and say, "Hey, how you doing?" Because
so who was this girl? It was somebody that was interviewing you for a job?
no, it's just some little girl worked in a retail store, a sales associate, and I really liked her. And I just thought, hey, I like giving people the chance, like I'm giving you the chance. I like people give opportunities. And if I see an opportunity, I'm going to take it. If I see someone who deserves it, I'm going to give them an opportunity. So basically, she just threw it back in my face, and I said, this is exactly why I don't walk up to people.
It sounds like maybe that's her problem. There's something going on with her, because it doesn't sound to me like you did anything wrong. But I mean, maybe I wasn't there. I can't give you a complete analysis of the situation. But from what you're saying, it doesn't sound like you did anything wrong.
Yeah.
You should have some cards. That might help.
Actually, I did have my card, and she does.
She's so. What?
I was going to have it. I don't have it on me, but I can show you afterwards. But
yeah, that's kind of crazy. It sounds like maybe she's just not very nice of a person.
And not my karma.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Now, the next question, like I said, I'm going to ask a lot of easy questions, hard questions, and like I said, you can ask me anything you want. You can say anything you want, and I know I dropped the F-bomb a couple times, but that's how I express myself. So, there is a warning label saying S for strong language and everything. I do like a rating system. So in my video says the KeithAndrewNetWork, S for strong language, U for uncensored, 'cause we care. So I didn't want to do the normal TV 14 or something. I like being creative. But if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask me.
Okay. Right now?
It's up to you.
I don't know if this is a sensitive subject, but what kind of disability do you have?
Yeah, I have to tell you, no, that's fine. I can answer it. It's how many times I heard that. I did this talk show about 77 times, and I heard it over times, but without going into much detail, trying to find the words for it. As you know, as I'm talking, I hesitate. That's one of the parts of my learning disability is I don't think before talking. I don't have a filter. Sometimes that's great. You're like, oh, you can say whatever you want. You just throw it out there, and I don't know. Not having a filter is considered having a learning disability. Basically, I'm like you, a normal person, and I learn at a slower pace, and unfortunately, because I learn at a slower pace, people refer to that as being, retarded. And the one reason I'm doing the talk show is I never went to college, and I didn't want to do retail for the rest of my life and be miserable. And for the longest time, I was using my learning disability as a crutch, saying, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. And one day I was like, screw it, I'm going to try to do something and see if it messes up or backfires. At least I can say I tried. So I started my talk show, and it's going on 2 years. And luckily, knock on wood, it's going well. A year ago, I messed up. It should have been episode 100 by now. By the way, if you notice, I talk with my hands. I do that when I'm nervous. A year ago, I started my talk show. Don't ask me why. It was a stupid thing on my part. it was a great idea, but I did all my interviews as a phone conversation. And should have been doing this from the start, but, I did about 72 interviews, and people said, and this really gets me, they say, you have a great format, you're doing just a great thing. Why don't you have supporters? Why don't you have endorsers? And those same people say, oh, well, you should talk to this person, you should talk to that person, being a supporter, endorser. And they're like, okay, you're doing something good. I think we have a lot of potential here. What is your audience? I don't know. That's news to me. I didn't know I really had an audience. I knew people watch my stuff. And so I did it over, and what we're doing now, doing more video because people don't want to listen to audio, and
yeah,
I guess using their imagination's a lot of hard work for some people. And I recently found out now my audience is 47% female, and I think something like now it's 37 used for guys. For the male audience, 37. It used to be 0. So I recently came up with the Jumbo Buck and Dumbo parodies that I do. And then it came up with, okay, now you have 40% female audience because I mostly interview women. Because, not to sound sexist, because I prefer interviewing the women because they're easier to talk to. And I don't know if that came off sexist, I apologize if it did. I have 37% guy audience, male audience, and I have a 15% youth audience. That's because most of them are for Canada and England, and they like what I'm doing with the Dumbo and Jumbo Buck parodies. And so basically, I do have a lot of supporters, but as far as looking for endorsers, I don't know how to go about that.
Yeah.
Now, let's turn that question back to you. I don't mean to ramble on, I apologize. Now, when you're an actor, writer, do you have any... I bet you have a lot of endorsers, like friends and everything, but do you have supporters, or how do you go about that?
You have, supporters, I guess, and friends, and family and those kind of people, but financial supporters, just if you book a job, then you get paid for a commercial or for an acting job. If I was writing and producing my own show, I might look for a producer, which would help me with the financial aspect. You could do fundraising, or there's a lot of, I'm sure the YouTube, you can be a YouTube partner and get ad revenue, and that could help with producing the show. I haven't really. Everything that I've done, I pay for myself. I make my own, right now. Have you ever? Do they? I don't know. I know that they have it in Brooklyn and Manhattan, but do they have public television studio up where you are?
I think there's News 12. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
No, yeah, it's I wouldn't know what the equivalent is up by you, but I know it's a public station. I think it's called Borough of Manhattan, Manhattan Television. I am not sure. I'd have to Google it. But Brooklyn also has the same thing, Brooklyn Public Access Television or Manhattan Public Access Television. And you can go to their facilities, use their facilities, and they will basically, give you the equipment and everything to produce a show, and then you air it on their network, which a lot of people that I know have done. And I thought about it, but it's mostly things like what you do is talk shows and those kind of things, because it has to be very cheap to produce and also very quick turnover.
Right.
So it's mostly news-type programs and talk shows, but you should look into that because it's probably really easy to get a time slot, and then you'd be able to use their TV facilities or whatever.
No,
that's really helpful.
No, I appreciate it. Actually, I do have an idea for you. I want to talk to you after the show. But wrapping up, do you have any funny stories you'd like to share? Or any funny, like I said, stories, incidents that happened? Or
I don't know. Give me a topic.
Okay, well, this happened to me. Yeah, I was going to give you a funny story happened to my brother, but I think it's funnier happened to me. We went to this Italian restaurant, and I forgot, I think it was someone's birthday or a holiday. And we came out, and my sister says, it was me, my sister, and my brother. We took 2 cars with my family. There's a lot of us. Obviously, that's why we would take 2 cars. Anyway, without sounding more like an idiot, we were walking to the car, and I noticed something different about the car. I noticed there was an antenna on the roof. And so this is your car? Yes. You positive? Okay, yeah, this is my car. Were you crazy? Yeah, it's my car. Grab the handle. The handle feels kind of different. That's okay. It's cold outside. Opened the back door. Went into the car. The back seat's kind of cramped. Why is the seats kind of gray, and where did that Bumblebee sticker come from? And that's whatever, I'm tired. Put the seatbelt on, I was sitting there like this. And I was like, why aren't they getting into the car? Why are they staring at me? Did something happen to the car? Did someone scratch it? And I happened to look down, and I noticed from automatic it was to a stick. And at the same time as I realized I said, oh shit, I'm in someone else's car. My brother's yelling at me, you're in the wrong car. And so they said, get out and close the door, and God help you if that alarm goes off.
That's very funny.
I don't know why you would leave a car in a parking lot that's unlocked, and it's kind of like,
Yeah.
The ever funny story, well, that's the only one that comes to mind for me. Okay, actually, correction. There's another one that isn't funny. If I was being an asshole, I was trying to make my sister laugh. We were going to Best Buy or PetSmart. And there were these couple of people sitting outside who worked there at another store, luckily, or I would have gotten my ass kicked. And they were sitting there smoking their cigarettes and they were laughing. I happened to have my window pulled down. So at the same time they were laughing, ha 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 ha. I stuck my head out the window as we were driving by. I went, ha 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 ha. And they stopped and looked at me, and my sister said, if they come near the car, God help you, you're on your own.
Oh no.
I thought it was funny, but it's the other funny story happened to my brother. It didn't happen to him, but happened to his friend. He got punched in the face while taking a shit.
Oh my god. Why?
Basically, his friend, they had this apartment on campus, and it was the type of apartment where it was near sidewalk, so anyone in the whole neighborhood could walk past. And don't ask me why they didn't have a screen. So his friend had to use the bathroom, and someone walked past and saw him doing his business, realized the bathroom didn't have a screen, so he stopped, he thought about it, he walked back, saw him, and just punched him right through the window.
Oh my god! That's so mean.
So those are my funny stories. So what about you? You have any funny stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. I can tell you a story about something my mom did at the DMV, which I think is funny. My mom is very silly. She's a very funny person. So she was at the DMV once, and that you go to the DMV and there's an eye chart, and you have to say the letters on the eye chart to test your eyesight. So she comes in and she's looking at the chart, and the woman's like, "Can you please read the line number 6?" So my mom's looking at it, and she's looking at it, and she's getting a little nervous, and she doesn't really know what to do. She turns to the lady, and she's like, I'm sorry, but I don't know what that word is. And my cousin, who was standing next to her, was like, oh, sure, Cynthia, of course you know what word that is. It's Zerber Berber Kabul pasta. Come on, you don't know that word? So she misinterpreted what the person said as read, like each letter individually, and she thought that it was a word that she was supposed to know.
Yeah, it's really funny.
But I think it's kind of funny. It's very my mom. She's very silly.
I do have a funny cat story if you're interested.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So unfortunately, she passed away, but I remember it, and I laugh, and hopefully you would think it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
My eldest brother and his girlfriend went on a date, and my other brother wanted to stay at their apartment. They would want to hang out and get high and whatever. And my cat just threw up. And obviously, even my cat threw up. He thinks the cat doesn't think it's funny, but I think it's funny. Anyway, so
he's trying so hard to get into your room, he just exhausted himself.
Well, I was gonna go let him in, but I didn't want to be rude, and I can get to it.
He'll survive.
Without rambling on. So basically, my oldest brother and my other brother, two brothers, wanted to hang out with a girlfriend. And it's like, okay, you were going out for a little bit. His name, it doesn't make up his name. His name is like, okay, Brian. Brian, you have to watch Madison. Okay, I got it. Now, here's the catnip. We're going to give her Madison, some catnip. I mean, when you're done, put it away. Make sure it's all closed and everything, and Maddie can't get to it. Okay, I got it. They left, and he made a mistake of falling asleep. And Madison got into the catnip. And she had a party. She threw it in the air. It was not the solid, it was the powder. She threw it in the air. It was over the ceiling, over the TV, over the couch, the windows. Everything went from black to white. My brother came back and said, what the fuck happened to my apartment? Hey, wake up, huh? Why am I covered? And Madison, who was gray, was now solid white. Yeah. And it's kind of like, what happened? You tell me. Did you fall asleep? Madison came stumbling out. Her eyes are glazed over. And that's my funny story I remember of her.
Cats on catnip are pretty funny. I used to live in an apartment with a couple cats. They weren't mine, but they were my roommates, and we would give them catnip, and they would just go crazy. Like roll all in it, and they're kind of entertaining. Animals are very entertaining. I like animals a lot. Do you just have one cat?
Actually, I had 6 cats. Now I have 4.
Oh wow!
And
I unfortunately
one dog.
am allergic to cats and dogs, so I can't have either. But I like them.
Yeah, sorry to hear about it.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, if you wanted to hang out at my place, but you're highly allergic, so that goes out with that.
Yeah, I am allergic.
No, is it like very allergic, or just to a point where you can be around them, but you have to take medicine?
Yeah, I can be around them, but I have to take medicine.
Well, so it's not so bad.
Yeah, it's not the worst.
Is it the hair or the fur?
I'm not, it's like, from what I understand, it's the dander, that's some sort of, it's the skin, like the flakes of skin have some sort of protein in them that you get causes an allergic reaction, but I'm not a doctor, so I don't know if that's true. That's just what the internet has told me.
Well, you shouldn't believe everything you see over the internet.
That's true. So it might not be true, but it sounds pretty good, right?
Yeah. Now, wrapping up, do you have anything you want to say to your fans and listeners?
Oh, God. If I had any fans, I'd be like, cool. I don't know. I hope that people have enjoyed the show. I feel like I should have been wearing this the whole time. Maybe that would have been better.
Well, after listening to me, I think that's kind of fitting.
Oh no! What if I put this on it? Then I'm like a princess who was stabbed in the head. like I just won the prom queen or something, and somebody was very mad.
No, you look good. Well, do you have any words of wisdom or anything you want to say to people who want to become a writer or an actor?
Yeah, I would say, follow your dreams. Follow what makes you happy, because you're the only person that's going to make you happy. So, and as much adversity as you think that there's always a way to make it happen.